try this. Oh man. Oh, goodness me. I never would have believed that if somebody said to me that holding onto a 50-60% weight would just crush you if you just held it for a minute. I would have never believed it. I never would have believed it. What I just did here is probably the longest I've done it. 140 kilos. And I held it on for 2 minutes. So 30-second breaks in between each rep. So in between 1 and 2, 2 and 3. So I didn't hold it after the 5th rep. So it's not 5 lots of 30 seconds, it's 4 lots of 30 seconds. I had to think about that initially to count how long it has been. Man, immense pain through the traps. Up through the neck, base of skull, like through here, like dizzy. Like I felt like muscles through here, like pulling. I felt like my freaking shoulders were gonna detach and fall down, but I held onto it. And the other thing was like, I had to force this. Because of the weight on my shoulders, it wanted me to do this, unlock, and if I do this, then there's no shelf and the bar just drops. So just doing this, incredible. And so if I'm thinking about holding for 180 for 2 minutes, which I struggle to do with 140, it's impossible. It's absolutely, utterly impossible. I should be able to hold 140 for 5 minutes and not even blink, but I can't. That is a real limitation. So for whatever we can say about the prime movers of certain movements, squats, the quads, the glutes, the adductors, all this erectors, that's all well and good, and we can talk about that until the cows come home, and that is definitely a topic, definitely up for discussion. But what about the stabilizer muscles? What about the muscles that are just accessory muscles? What are we saying about that? Because right now, like literally, I got lit up. So I got this suggestion from one of the guys. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now. I don't have it with me at the moment. I think it's 3 videos ago where I talked about how long can you hold on to it. And it was interesting because Initially, I was like, hold it for a minute and then do the 5 reps. But then later on, I read the comments and the guy was like, why don't you take, 10 or 20 or 30 second breaks in between each rep? That makes more sense. Makes much more sense than just, doing a block of time on one side. That doesn't defeat the purpose. So it's more real if you do reps that are in between the sets. That makes much more sense. Makes much more sense because it's more specific to what we're trying to do. Do a rep, hold 30, 45 seconds, do another rep, hold another 30 or 45 seconds, and you keep doing that. And that should translate more to what I'm trying to do. So when I saw that comment, I was like, man, respect, thank you so much. And this is what I love about the community. The guy literally set me in the right direction. I don't know why my brain didn't, think of this, but this is exactly what I need to be doing. Because if I can take 140 kilos for 5 minutes, then I don't have to worry about the upper back. I can just worry about the breathing and the squatting portion. The trouble with me is when I have one area on my back, I'm good for maybe minute and a half when I'm doing those AMRAP sets, and I am lit up. Like my brain is literally flooded with pain stimulus from every part of the body, and I just can't handle that. So I need to strengthen these other aspects. And yeah, I can do flies and I can do rows and whatever, but what's more specific than this? So shout out to you, man, who gave me this suggestion. I tried it today, I almost died. I'm gonna try and make this type of workout maybe twice a week. I'll think about it, let's see how I recover. But already I feel okay. It's just during the set it's hell, and then I settle down quite quickly after that. Now, the other thing I wanted to make this video about, it's probably gonna be a long video, but I wanna respond to some of the comments from yesterday because I didn't get to reply to all of them, but this morning I was reading through them, and I just wanted to read out a few of them because there was some really good discussions that I thought, instead of me kind of, just speaking off my brain, I've got my missus's phone here and I'm gonna read the comments and I'm gonna respond to them. Much more effective than me sitting there typing for 3 days. So, DasDos 002, 16 hours ago writes, elite powerlifters can take years just to add 5 to 10 to the bar, 5 to 10 kilos to the bar. Like 3 to 5 years. Once you've maxed out your genetic potential and PED use, it can take years to add 1 more kilo to the bar. Ivan is extremely advanced lifter. These numbers are crazy for a natural with absolutely no gear, wrap, sleeves, belt, etc. Whatsoever that has a life outside of lifting, most elite lifters have literally nothing else to do. Or another way to put it, 0 responsibilities outside the gym and focus solely on training. This isn't the case here. People don't understand how important sleep and nutrition is to the human body. Night shifts and 5 hours of sleep, of interrupted sleep, makes what Ivan is doing inspirational. What Ivan has done so far is remarkable. Most people in his position have not made it this far. But these keyword warriors saying you haven't made much progress is ridiculous. You are either 1, 17 years old, or 2, very inexperienced with working and family life. These warriors need to come back after juggling lifting, family, and work with the numbers he has, plus high bar ATG squat with 0 equipment. So my first reaction is, thank you for that. I don't know what your social circumstance is, or what you have at home and what you got going on in your life, but it seems as though that you relate to me. It seems as though that you have a feeling of the full picture, because what you've outlined there, I mean, you called me advanced lifter, which I thank you for that. I don't feel it because, well, for me, advanced lifting is like Klokov and beyond. And I'm definitely not that. But you touched on things that I've kind of struggled for a very, very long time. And instead of just giving up and kind of stopping these videos and not doing anything about it, I've continued to put these videos up, and basically, I don't know, maybe one of the motivations is to show people that it's okay. It's okay. Yes, I have a couple of kids and a house and a mortgage and all these, things going on, like we all do, like normal people. I think where the disconnect comes from is the people that haven't entered this stage of life. They don't understand what it is to wake up middle of the night for a baby, to do that kind of stuff, to do shift work, to do your normal mid-30s life. Maybe some of these people that are commenting and shitting on me are people that are 18 living in mama's bedroom, not having any responsibilities, sleeping 12 hours a day, a night, and then just training, sleeping, going to university, bludging through university or bludging through a job, whatever. It's not me to kind of imagine what other people's circumstances are, but I just want to say that it is nice to hear somebody mention these things, because it's not equal playing field. I aspire to be some of the guys that don't have the circumstances that I have. So I'm handicapped, and a lot of us are, but yet a lot of us are watching people that are not handicapped, like you're mentioning. And then there's a whole bunch of discussions which I also want to get into and read. Cosmic Soundwave 2669 says, I don't think they're saying he hasn't made much progress. They're just saying better program will probably help with progress. Ivan definitely has a full plate with work, family, kids, and still manages to get in every day. That's amazing. That's why people are suggesting doing waves, because it's better than linear progression. Is there better programming out there? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you're looking at it in a vacuum, without a single doubt, this is not the best way to go about it. But like I mentioned many times before, this works for me. The traditional programming I have tried, I'm not an anti-traditional programming. The big reason that I don't do it is because my life is not traditional. I don't have structure. And so I love when I can come in and not stress about what's written on paper three weeks ago or 3 months ago. I can auto-regulate. It's just up and down whenever I want, right? So this traditional stuff where I have tapering and this and that and whatever, what if in the week where I'm supposed to express my strength is the peaking phase, I'm in a block of 4 nights? What happens then? Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard to have rigidity. So I never said that this is the best programming. It's just the best programming for me, for my life, my mentality, my psychology, my personality, all of that stuff rolled into one. So that's a fair point. We go on. Pink Supremacy 6076. By the way, a lot of these people that are commenting on here are like OGs of the channel. People that have kind of been around, and so it's all love. It's all just, normal discussion, brainstorming. Pink Supremacy 6076, man, I reckon I've read 1,000 of his comments and his thoughts, and I always appreciate seeing him here. He goes, he's not extremely advanced, dude. Ivan's a good lifter, don't get me wrong, but extremely advanced indicates that he'd squat upwards of 250 for his body weight. He's advanced for sure, but that's it. Even at his weights, he ought to be able to progress at least 10 to 15 kilos per year with a smart strategy. Do not disagree with that. I don't view myself as advanced or super advanced or whatever. And yes, the last couple of years, I didn't make the progress that I wanted to, although now I'm making, seems like lots and lots of progress. So it's not a linear progression with me at all. I seem to have worked something out and I've taken a big step. And hopefully I will realize some of the strength that I've put into the 180. Maybe I'll realize that down the track and maybe hit 220, 230. And then I can maybe fit some of this 10 to 15 kilos per year. That will be really good. Das Dos replies, Pink Supremacy, you are looking at this from a narrow point of view. When you take all of the factors into account, age, responsibilities, high bar ATG, squad, natural, and zero equipment, then yes, I will go so far as to say he is the 1% of the 1%. Not many people have done this, but yes, I would agree. I agree with you if you look at it from a completely objective point of view, the total number of kilos on the bar. That's a fair point, but very, very hard to equate. My struggle versus your struggle versus somebody else's struggle. That's why a lot of people say, screw all of that, what's on the bar? It's easier, it's objective, it's very clear to compare lifters, but you don't know what the lifter's got at home or what's he got going on. So it's worth a mention. Could I have made more progress if I didn't have 3 kids, a wife, and a mortgage? I think it's a pretty safe assumption to say yes. I probably would have been better. How much? I don't know. Has my other responsibilities impacted my lifting for sure. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. This is just what happens when you pick up a barbell at 25 and decide to start squatting. At 27, I became a father. At 31, father of 2. At 34, a father of 3. So, of course, this has an impact. By the way, when people talk about your prime is like in your 20s or whatever, sure, biologically speaking, that is your prime. But I also think that socio-economic impact to somebody's prime in whatever field also has a huge impact. I have responsibilities, I have stresses in other fields of my life. When you're 21, you don't have that. And so you can focus on whatever endeavor you have. So would I trade it for 250 kilo squat, all of the stuff that I've built? Hell no. This is a side quest. Make no mistake about it. This is a side quest to me in my life. My kids are everything, my family is everything, but it's worth a mention when you're trying to put this into equation. So definitely a point there. Sim Hola HD chimes in. He goes, Pink Supremacy 676. And a belt, knee sleeves, low bar, and parallel squatting, and Ivan is near enough a 250 kilo squatter. Interesting. I'd like to think so. I just don't have any intuition about that because I've never done it. Rocky, ex-Rocky, also an OG. I think it's easy to say Ivan is a one-of-one, first of his kind in terms of someone doing his job full natty, doing 180 for over 10 reps. Nobody in the world in a similar situation can match him. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Dastor says, I don't know if it's easy to say that. There are 7+ billion people on this planet. You would be surprised what others do with their lives. Also, very surprised. There's 7 billion people. It's hard to fathom how many people that is. Dastos goes on, he says, he's very advanced and gifted with a total inspirational grit. The one thing that keeps him from reaching the next goal, next level, in my opinion, is his tendency to stick to principles for way too long. E.g., those days it's the AMRAP idea, and he's now ready to commit to it no matter what until he reaches the 20 rep mark. Again, just like heavy singles, it sounds like taking one tool among the entire box and making it the be-all, end-all of all training. I understand the appeal to minimalism training with a silver bullet approach that you could hammer till the end of days. It's a beautiful idea, but it doesn't work, man. I hear you. That is also one of my criticisms of myself. I have this tendency, man, to just latch onto things and just like grind them to freaking death. And even death is not enough. Then I resurrect that freaking idea and then I kill it again to grind it to the shit. And over and over and over and over and over again. Until I am somewhat intellectually satisfied that this is not going to work. So there is an overarching theme with me, and I know you've been watching a lot. This was Execution Sommer, also an OG. This is a fair summary of me. I look for the silver bullet, but I've also realized something about myself in this process is that the motivation for training comes from this extremism. If you put me into a room with normalcy, is that a word? Normal methods, I don't know if I'm that excited about training anymore. I like the extreme shit. I like it. I like the specialist in sport. The guy that can't shoot freaking to save his life, but he's athletic and he attacks the rim and he climbs through the trees and dunks it. Ja Morant. He can't shoot for shit. He's been proved, but he's that slasher guy, point guard. He's a point guard. Playing like a freaking small forward, dunking, running around. Appeals to me. Really, really appeals to me. Or the Ben Wallace type of guy. Can't freaking bounce the ball, can't shoot the ball, but he's strong, he's tough, he'll defend Shaq, he'll grab boards, set solid picks, roll, catch, and dunk. Once again, appealing to me. Peja Stojakovic, back in the day, right? Catch and shoot guy. Run. Run through the floppy action, run to the other side, bang. Again, not very good in other like dribbling and all that stuff, posting up. I'm attracted to that. That's my psychological makeup. So fair point, but that's just me, man. Sea Salt says John Hack, who most people agree is the absolute goat of powerlifting, has a full-time job. Okay, fair point. Sea Salt, my man, let's not compare John's life versus Ivan's life. They are nowhere near the same. That was Dastos. Sea Salt goes on, he goes, my man, I'm not comparing, I'm simply stating that John Hack, an elite powerlifter, has a job. You talk of keyboard warriors. Isn't that what you're doing? You have typed out the most elite powerlifters don't work. How could you even know this? When you talk of elite powerlifters, I'm guessing you are talking about both male and female, all different weight classes. That's a lot of people you have discredited, my man. Maybe next time, think about your type before you type. Dastos goes on, sure, I exaggerated quite a bit about the zero responsibilities aspect of elite powerlifters. Yes, a lot of elite lifters do have work. Sorry, they do have responsibilities outside of lifting. They show up to their 9-to-5 jobs, check out and go lift. It's a lot. Working 40 hours a week is some responsibility. I should not have said zero. That's my bad. The reason why I laughed is because I see all the partying Hack does on the internet. He does get a break. He doesn't have the kids. He isn't working live shifts, helping people dying and getting little sleep. These worlds are vastly different. The only thing in common is they both work. You can't compare the medical world with whatever chemical drug rep Hack works for. This is where it gets a bit tricky to talk about this stuff, because how do you equate someone's hardship? The bottom line is Hack is a better lifter than me, and we keep it at that. Because if you start talking about drugs, how many kids he's got, how much sleep he's got, then it gets really, really hard to equate what's going on. So let's control for this. What if Ivan doesn't have kids and has drugs on board? Is Ivan a better lifter? Probably not. Probably not. So does that mean that my handicap isn't significant? Who knows? Who knows? It's hard to talk about this. It seems like we're looking for excuses for certain individuals for not performing. But from personal experience, not the people on the internet, like the athletes, the influencers, it seems as though, I don't know if you guys agree with this, that even in my profession, those people who look for a family in their late 20s, early 30s, handicap themselves in their career. That's just my experience. The people that go, you know what, I'm going to postpone this family stuff, kids, I'm going to focus on my career. They're ahead. Women and men. Sure, I could have kids and work 60-hour, 70-hour weeks, not see my kids. So technically I've got kids, but I'm at work all the time. So, see what I mean? How do you equate me and this other guy with 3 kids and he's not home at all? So it gets really, really tricky. But for people, when you see people doing really, really well in life, let's say they're 30 and they're a millionaire, do they have kids? And if they have kids, do they have the normal traditional life? Because the chances are, if they're taking their kid to basketball twice a week, swimming once a week, school pick up, drop off, Sunday birthday parties with their friends, constantly in the car, back and forth, and also working a 40-hour week, night shifts involved. How many people are doing that and also managing an empire, $1 million, or breaking powerlifting records? How many of those guys exist? It's not a winch, it's not an excuse, it's just an observation. The people that put themselves in a class where they're breaking world records are probably not taking their kids to school every day, swimming, basketball, Sunday parties, and working 40 hours. Probably not. It's fair to say they're probably not doing that. Also, there probably isn't a surgeon out there in the world, a cardiothoracic surgeon that's 35 years old, fully specialized, ready by himself to operate, has 3 kids at home and then spends all of his free time at the pool, at the basketball court, at the local go-karting place. That doesn't exist. Those 2 individuals, that individual doesn't exist where you can put in 100 hours in the hospital theater floor and also be at the swimming and the school pickups and whatever. So when you're talking about these things, it's worth a mention. I don't know who's got it worse or whatever, but generally speaking, the people that are excelling are not the people in late 20s and early 30s, are not the people that are family people. My experience, I could be wrong. Dasdo says, execution Sommet, I agree with this, but what do you want him to try that he hasn't already given a good shot? For example, he has done his version of Lewis conjugate method. He has carpet bombed the system with many different ideas. In order to know if one idea is going to work, you're going to have to stick with it from some amount of time to see if the results are there. I'm curious to hear what what you think Ivan should do. Execution Sommet goes, basically the type of hard work he could never sustain until now due to his hip pain. 5x5 kind of stuff with progressive overload. He knows 100% that this works. So I'm kind of confused why he choose to go for an obscure method now that the pain is under control. The reason the pain is under control is because of this method, because of the stupid amount of sets. 5 minimum, 5 to 10 and up reps, excellent. No daily singles. Every single day it's a set of 5. Only twice a week I'm doing 180 for max reps. Everything else is 5. So I've changed a lot of different things. I'm doing sets of 5 every day with various different loads throughout the week with one really super heavy. So the reason why I've chosen this method is not because I thought this was going to be it, is because this method gave me the pain relief. This method, you know, alongside the accessory stuff that I've done, has brought me here. It's not this led to this, it's I discovered this within it. That's the answer to that. I agree 100%. And then Dasdo says, that will eventually bring us to a plateau as well. Eventually, whatever program you choose, the limiting factor will rear its head and you're back to figuring out what the problem is and how to fix it. He's addressing the problem with his warm-up routine. That's why he isn't able to push it. That's why he is able to push it. I think AMRAP sets are still going to push progress. I would like to see 2 days in a row, 140 times 5 as the top set, then send it to another ward day. Then do 120 for 5 and see what happens. I would love a genuine rest day too. yeah, absolutely. Look, super long video, super long discussion. The reason why I decided to do this is because it resonated with me, this discussion, on multiple fronts, from fellas that are true followers of the journey, true supporters of myself, and I thought I'd give it a proper response. And so, interesting discussion. Am I advanced? Am I not advanced? Is it hard to advance past this point with everything else that I have going on in life? Where are you guys at? What's holding you back? There's lots and lots of limitations to our progress. If you just zoom into the lifting itself, the hip pain has been the bane of my existence. Finally, it seems like I've sorted it out with this method, which is why I fall in love with this method. It's not because I started this freaking journey to fall in love with 5s. No, 5s is pain-free for me. With the other stuff that I'm doing with the side hip stuff, who's to say, maybe the hip stuff wouldn't have worked if I was still doing the singles. Staying away from singles right now is really, really good to me. Why am I not going to 190 for a set of 5 and then pushing that? It's probably the same reason as I mentioned before about the pain relief. Ultimately speaking, I want to spend a very extended period of time between 10 and 20 reps. I know a lot of you guys are like, but that's not strength, that's bodybuilding. I don't really care what it is, but it's good for me. It's really, really good for me right now. So, you know, I'm basically at the bottom end of where I'd like to be. I want to be repping 180 for a set of 20. I want to be repping 180 for a set of 50. Tom Platz resonates with me. Mike Mensa resonates with me. These type of thoughts very much resonate with me at the moment. Intensity seems to be a very, very important aspect of training. Having very, very little reps in reserve seems to be very, very important to me. I'm spending way less time in the gym. Very, very, much a decrease on my time spent in the gym because I'm wearing myself out, getting the psychological fix and the physiological fix with one freaking set every 3 days. That's a beautiful thing to me. So I'll continue to do that. And I want to be really, really good with rep work. That's the goal for the remainder of the year. Hopefully I get to 180 for a set of 20 by the end of this year. No, you're not going to expect for me PRs every single week. Of course, it's going to get harder and harder, of course. Is the stimulus still there? Without a doubt. Even if I don't progress visibly from week to week, I think the stimulus is definitely happening because the response that I get is phenomenal. Like, I have not felt like this in a very, very long time. And it works well with my life as well. It's minimizing my time in the gym because the quality finally is the main focus of my training. It's not quantity, it's quality. Have one freaking set. Get the fuck out. Like always, guys, I appreciate you. I love this kind of stuff. I love these discussions. I appreciate the fella that pointed me in the right direction when it comes to the breathing squats, having 30-second breaks in between the reps rather than a long single break. It's exciting. I'm in a good spot. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.